$1,400 fourth stimulus check update specifically focused on Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, low income, no income, seniors, older adults, elderly, and people with disabilities. I have all the details, everything you need to know, and the latest information right here in this video. Let's get right into it. All right, so first off, let me share with you a report that was just released a short time ago so we can all be on the same page and understand where the United States is currently sitting as of right now. All right, so the Labor Department was just out a short time ago releasing a report showing that last month alone, 4.5 million people quit their jobs. This is a record number of people quitting their jobs in any single month. Now, at the same time, they also showed last month, once again, a record number of job openings were available right here in the United States, 11.5 million job openings right here in the United States last month alone. Now, we got to put this into perspective to understand where we're currently sitting as of right now in relation to prior times. So, let me do that for you right here. All right, so the report also showed that prior to 2020, so a little over 2 years ago, the reports that were coming out on this information was showing on an ongoing monthly basis, there was an average of about 3.6 million people quitting their jobs every single month. So we're elevated by about 900,000 people, just shy of 1 million people more right now than what they were previously posting about 2 years ago prior to 2020. Now, at the same time, they also said back then the most number of jobs that they have ever seen open in this country on any given month was 7.7 million jobs prior to 2020. We're now sitting at 11.5 million job openings in this country as of the new report that was just released a short time ago. So nearly 4 million more job openings right now in this country compared to just a little over 2 years ago. So, do you kind of see what I'm saying here? A little bit of an issue that we have going on right now. Anyway, that is just one of the pieces of information that I wanted to share with you right here in this video. Since this was just released a short time ago, I wanted to lay it out for you right away so that we can all understand what is actually going on. But again, there's a lot more. This is only one little teeny tiny piece of the massive puzzle. Anyway, let's get into this and discuss more details on this. But really fast before we do, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video. I'm literally doing research all day, every single day. Yes, 7 days a week. I'm breaking it all down into these short videos, which I deliver a couple times each and every day so that you can stay updated with all of this latest information as it is hitting the wire. Things are changing very, very rapidly right now, and as I always say, I am your dedicated one and only daily advocate. I truly want to help you out in any way that I possibly can, as well as make sure that you're staying updated and helping you grab as much money, benefits, programs, and anything else that may be popping up right now as a result of so much that is being introduced, proposed, and all this other things that are hitting the table. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video if you haven't done so yet, so you don't miss any updates going forward, and let's get into some other updates here. All right, so some other piece of information that I do want to run through in this video, again, so we can all be on the same page and understand what is actually going on. As I've said a few times in previous videos, everything is highly, highly correlated. Therefore, if we see a collapse in one sector or a boom in another sector, we got to continue watching this stuff very closely because it's all going to lead toward the jobs market, which again, like I've said before, the jobs market is like basically the major indicator that they look at when it comes to determining, do we need more stimulus? Do we need to send out more stimulus? Do we need to pump out another stimulus package? What do we need to do as far as people in this country? Now, one more thing that I want to throw out there. The report that I just talked about a couple minutes ago, showing 11.5 million job openings in this country. Is that just a phenomenon? Is it just a weird fluke in the system? Like, what is going on here? No, actually, it's really not. Let's talk about this for just a second here because this is something we need to understand. Now, a lot of other things are being automated right now. As we've talked about in previous videos over the last couple years now, there's a lot of automation taking over a lot of the different sectors and different industries in this country. As a result of that, Just like the richest person in the world has said, Elon Musk, about a year or so ago, he's actually anticipating that there will have to be some type of universal basic income or guaranteed basic income program in place in the United States, probably sooner than later, simply because of automation and robots taking over the jobs of American people, right? Therefore, he's actually predicting that ongoing monthly checks are a thing. But again, we'll have to talk about that in a separate video. That is totally a different topic. Well, not much of a different topic. It's similar, but at the same time, that is a whole nother can of worms that we can open up in a separate video. But here's the thing. With all that being said, there's a massive amount of job openings right now. There's a lot of people that are quitting their jobs on an ongoing basis as a result of everything going on here over the last 2 or so years with the whole COVID situation. There's a lot of people out there right now, too, that are kind of just saying, this is a great time to retire. Why don't I just hang up the towel here and just hang up the world working shoes and just say, let's just jump into retirement. So there's a lot more people also that are jumping into retirement and just saying, you know what, I'm kind of done. I'm just kind of over the whole job thing, right? Been doing it for 30 years, been doing it for 35 years. We can just be done with it and call it quits and just be into retirement now. So that is another situation that's going on as well. But anyway, I do want to talk about some other factors here that we need to look at. As I said, everything is highly correlated. Therefore, we've got to look at it all very closely. All right, so just the other day, we got the release of the GDP number, which is gross domestic product, which is basically showing the output of everything in this country versus imports, things like that. So exports, imports, and basically production right here in the United States. Well, the last quarter, as in the first quarter of 2022, so January, February, March, it actually contracted 1.4%. Is that good? No, that's horrible. That is not a good thing. That is not a good thing to see the economy contracting by 1.4%. Now, they're also pointing the finger toward stimulus drying up as a reason why GDP is actually contracting about 1.4%. Now, here's the thing. We also had, during the first quarter of this year, January, February, March, mostly through the March and into February, we were starting to see a lot of stimulus still being distributed as a result of people filing their tax returns and claiming stimulus checks that were not received as of last year and the other lump sum payments of the child tax credit payments from last year once again. Therefore, more stimulus was being pumped into the economy so far this year, and even into April of this year, yes, more money being claimed on tax returns and received by Americans. Therefore, the stimulus really isn't over quite yet. However, Q2, as in April, May, and June, is also going to be a telltale sign of what is going on here in the United States as far as GDP. We'll get that release sometime in about July time. We'll get that release on the next GDP number. So again, we'll have to watch that one very closely because if it's contracting once again, not a good thing. That's just, again, pointing toward, yes, the big R word, recession. Yes, something else that we can talk about again. There's a lot of different pieces in this video that we can talk about. I'll probably not talk about everything, honestly, because we'll sit here for an hour talking about many different things that we could all focus on. But anyway, contracting GDP is not necessarily a good thing when it comes to the economy and what's going on here. So that's something else that we need to look at very closely. And again, the recession word, like I just said, many big banks on Wall Street, many of the Wall Street people out there, hedge fund managers, things like this, are all pointing toward, yes, we're likely going to see a massive contraction and likely a recession sometime in 2022 and probably leading into 2023. Now you might be wondering, what does all of this have to do with a fourth stimulus check? We don't really care. Just tell us about the $1,400. I totally get it. Here's the thing. We've got to watch all this stuff closely because it all kind of pertains to everything going on here. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about the $1,400 check now. Just because I know that's what most of you care about, the vast majority of you probably don't care about all this other stuff. But at the same time, we got to talk about it. It's the massive elephant in the room, and we have to talk about it because this is what may actually pertain to the next stimulus check. This may actually be the one, like the catalyst behind issuing additional stimulus checks. Because here's the thing. The next stimulus check is not necessarily going to be distributed because of the economy needing stimulus. No, it's probably not going to be that. Because the economy, as of right now anyway, this could all change very rapidly because the economy may need more stimulus. Here's the thing. The next check that could be distributed may actually be an anti-inflationary check, or more like, hey, we understand inflation is very hot right now. We want to send you out a $1,400 check simply to help you get by with some of this rapidly rising inflation and rapidly rising prices. So, as we've talked about many times before, many months ago, I brought this up and said, hey, the next check that is distributed, it's likely not going to be called a stimulus check. It's likely going to be called something like a relief payment or anti-inflationary check or something along these lines, because that's likely going to be the purpose behind it versus actually stimulating the economy. That's why they call them stimulus checks, is because they wanted to stimulate the economy back in 2020, 2021, when the economy was lower because of everything being closed down and taking quite a bit of time to get back on track and getting lifted back up once again. That's why they call it a stimulus check. But now it's not necessarily necessary to send out stimulus, but rather at this point, it's more like relief, right? It's going to be more in the form of a relief payment that is needed for especially the fixed income and the low income. All of those fixed income beneficiaries I mentioned at the beginning of the video, right? Social Security, SSDI, retirement, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, low income, no income, seniors, elderly, people with disabilities. You know the whole list, right? We've talked about it. Anyway, when it comes to these groups, they completely recognize it just as much as we do. And honestly, they've actually been making some statements lately as well. When I say they, I'm talking about lawmakers, by the way. Anytime I say they, I'm usually talking about lawmakers. But they have also recognized recently as well, even the president, as of just a few days ago, he's understanding the low income and the fixed income are the ones who are ultimately feeling the pinch the most right now as a result of inflation, rapidly rising prices. So therefore, it's not so much that we need to stimulate things anymore. It's more like we need relief, right? We need a relief payment to help alleviate some of the kind of the pinch, the stress, the pain from all of these rapidly rising prices on literally everything out there in the real world right here, right now. So couple of things. Well, not one. Two more things here that I really want to mention just quickly here, and then we can wrap this up. But again, this is all highly correlated. We've got to watch this stuff. Tomorrow, the Federal Reserve will be out announcing what they're going to do with interest rates. Again, this is all in an effort to lower inflation. It's not going to happen fast. Whatever the Federal Reserve does is likely going to whipsaw the market in either direction. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't have anything to do with the market. But the fact of the matter is, whatever happens with the Federal Reserve tomorrow in their FOMC meeting, which, by the way, they kicked off their two-day meeting today, when they come out tomorrow with this meeting and the announcement on interest rates, it's going to be very important to watch this because they're anticipated to raise rates, half a point or something like that. But anyway, this is going to help slow inflation, but it's not going to do anything to inflation short term. They need to continue this on for a very long time. Every single meeting between now and the end of the year, it's anticipated they're likely going to be raising rates about 0.5%, possibly even more. That's one important point. And then on Friday, we also need to watch this too as well. Friday is going to be the non-farm payroll number. Again, this is the very important jobs number that is released once every single month. The first Friday of the month is when this number is released. Again, we got to watch this number very closely because what does Congress care about? What does the administration care about? Do they care about us? Well, we'll leave that up for debate. I'm not going to go down that road. I think all of us understand where we sit with Congress and the administration, right? Anyway, what do they care about? They care about jobs. Why do they care about jobs? Because jobs produce tax revenue. What is the government? It is a massive, basically, business that gets their revenue through tax revenues, right? So they need jobs. Jobs are very important. If we start to see jobs waning in this country, again, not a good sign. It means that things are starting to slow down. It means that things are starting to contract, right? They want jobs. How can we get more jobs? How can we get more people out into the workforce? How can we get more people out there spending money? Well, why do they want us to spend money? Because it ultimately gives more tax revenues. That's all they care about, right? So anyway, you got to kind of see the whole picture behind all this stuff. Anyway, as it comes down to it, when we look at a $1,400 stimulus check, again, many different things could happen right now. One more thing that we have up our sleeve right now is the Senior Citizens League. Hats off to them. They have also been working on our behalf as well, just like we have right here on the channel, working toward trying to convince Congress into getting a $1,400 highly focused check out for the groups that I mentioned a couple times throughout this video. Not to mention, one more side point, like I said, if we keep talking about all this stuff, literally I could sit here for an hour rambling on forever and ever and ever, and you don't want to hear that. about all these different reasons why additional checks could be distributed and how all of this stuff is so highly correlated. But anyway, back in 2009, remember this one? Checks were actually sent out to these specific groups. There were highly focused checks that were sent out to these groups back in 2009. So it would not be the first time that they've done this before. So anyway, hope this helps you out. These are the details that I have for you as of right now. This is what I'm looking at behind the scenes. You gotta watch everything closely, right? Anyway, just like a good old card game. When you play a card game against 10 other people, do you just watch one other opponent or do you watch everybody? You watch everybody because you got to watch their nonverbals. You got to watch the body language because ultimately at the end of the day, one little slip up on one little aspect of the whole game could tell you the signs as far as what may be coming as far as the big win, right? Not a good analogy, but I know. I'm cool. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Thanks again for watching this. Again, I'm here for you, watching everything very closely. I truly want to help you all get some more money, benefits, programs, reform to anything else, and I will continue advocating for you in any way, shape, or form that I possibly can. I'm dedicated to you, and I'm dedicated to this community, and I want to help you out. So again, hope you're having a nice day so far. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other 2,400 plus videos right here on the channel. Enjoy, and I'll catch you again later.